Okay, welcome to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have Her Grace Kirtida Sundari Mataji to enlighten us on Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Lila chapter 8 and text number 28 onwards. So thank you so much Mataji for giving a valuable association and time. Now I would like to hand over the call to you Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Pavitra Madhvi Mataji. Thank you so much for warmly welcoming everybody. And thank you everyone for joining. Thank you for all of your valuable time. Okay, so we'll get started now. Thank you for your association. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jayo Jayo Shri Chaitanya, Jayo Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jayo Jayo Shri Chaitanya, Jayo Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So we are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya Lila, chapter entitled is Ramachandra Puri criticizes the Lord. And today we'll start from verse number 28 and then let's see how far we can go. Ishwara Puri Gosai Kare Shripad Sevana Swahaste Karena Mala Mutradi Marjana. Ishwara Puri, the spiritual master of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, performed service to Madhavendra Puri, cleaning up his stool and urine with his own hand. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Charu Swami Niti Namine Snigdha Cheta Supraneta Vagmimascharasa Pratam Prabhupada Kata Prana Naumi Bhakti Charu Pada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam, pangum langayate giram, yat kripahatam aham vande, Shri Guru Deenatharinam. Guruve Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya, Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tat Bhaktaya Namo Namah. Hare Krishna. So I seek blessings from each and every one of you to please shower your heartfelt prayers and blessings so that I can speak something relevant which is related to this topic in glorification of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita and purification of my own self. So I really beg each and every one of you. Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripa sindhuvaevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrindi ki jai. So let's see the previous verse, text 28. Ishvara Puri Gosai Kare Shripad Sevana Swahaste Karena Mala Mutradi Marjana. So we know that this chapter entitled is Ramachandra Puri criticizes the Lord. And we saw the whole background that how Ramachandra Puri, first, he tried to instruct his spiritual master, Madhavendra Puri. Yesterday we saw that he tried to instruct his spiritual master, which is really a great offense, that one should not instruct one's spiritual master. But since he committed that offense, so Madhavendra Puri rebuked him and literally punished him, and he said, Mora mukha na dekhibe tui, yato datyati tathi, tora dekhi maila mora habe ashabgati. What he is saying, that don't show your face to me again. Go wherever you want, yati tati, wherever, whichever place you want, just go. I don't want to see your face. Because if I seeing your face die, if I die seeing your face, I shall not achieve the destination of my life. Now, this is a very strong statement made by Madhavendra Puri to his disciple Ramachandra Puri, because when Madhavendra Puri was in his last days and he was missing Vrindavan, he was missing being in Mathura, he was missing to be in association of Lord. At that time, he was literally crying, and he was simply, missing his association. He was missing being in Mathura. And at that time, Lord Ramachandra, I'm sorry, at that time, Ramachandra Puri, who is the disciple of Madhavendra Puri, he came in and he instructed his spiritual master that, why are you crying? You should not be crying. These are your last days. Try to meditate on Brahman. Now, being a disciple of Madhavendra Puri, still Ramachandra Puri has this thing that, Madhavendra Puri, who is the epitome of devotional love, Madhurya Prem, still his disciple was not able to have that mood of his spiritual master. Now, this is why, because Ramachandra Puri was associating more with Mayavadis. So even if we belong to an exalted sampradaya, even if we belong to we are disciple of some exalted spiritual master, that doesn't give us the qualification of attaining love of Godhead. This thing, we should try to understand that even though we may belong to that highest sampradaya, but it depends upon whom we are associating with. Just like Ramachandra Puri being a disciple of Madhavendra Puri, it itself is such a proud statement that you are a disciple of Madhavendra Puri. But because he was associating more with Mayavadis, he couldn't comprehend the mood of his spiritual master. And therefore, he had that audacity to instruct his spiritual master when he was in his last days. And he said that, please meditate on Brahman. And hearing these statements from Ramachandra Puri literally blew away the mind of Madhavendra Puri. And therefore, he made this very, very strong statement that, don't show me your face. Go anywhere you like. I don't want to see you, because if I die seeing your face, then I shall not achieve the destination of my life. Now, here we should understand that it's not that the Guru, we don't have to lessen the value or the magnanimity of the mercy that is coming out from the spiritual master. Spiritual master is always merciful. He is magnanimous. He is the epitome of all kind of magnanimity that we can even think of. So even the chastisement that is coming from the spiritual master is a blessing in disguise. So that, we have to understand. But in this case, we see that how Madhavendra Puri is rejecting. But the point is that he is not rejecting. It's the disciple who is rejecting the instructions of his spiritual master. So if the disciple is such that who basically don't follow the instructions of one's spiritual master, then everything comes on to the disciple. So the disciple is such that he is not following the instructions, he is not following the Vani of his spiritual master, then such disciple is of no use. Such disciple has to be rebuked. So here, though apparently we see that Madhavendra Puri is rejecting Ramachandra Puri and is saying, just go away, don't show me your face again. I don't want to die by seeing your face. Go away from this place. But here, he is simply rebuking him to set up an example for all of us. This will be clarified in further verses. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami brings up this point. But why I'm making this point is that spiritual master never rejects a disciple. It's the disciple who rejects the spiritual master by not following his instructions properly. And this is the case that happened in the case of Ramachandra Puri, that he was simply rebuked by Madhavendra Puri. Now, because he was rebuked by his spiritual master, as a punishment, he was being thrown away. Literally, Madhavendra Puri discarded Ramachandra Puri. And that time, because he created that great offense, that aparad of Guru Avagya, he started gaining all desires for that material gain. That was his punishment. It's not that there's some instant karmic reactions happen, but the thing is that he started gaining interest in material enjoyment, and that further created greater offenses in the mind of Ramachandra Puri. And later we'll see that how he even criticizes the Supreme Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is a great downfall that happened in the case of Ramachandra Puri. Now, when Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, after describing that how he was rebuked, Ramachandra Puri was rebuked by Madhavendra Puri, and he was discussing about Madhavendra Puri, he took this opportunity even to glorify his very, very dear disciple, that is Ishvara Puri, who is also the disciple of Madhavendra Puri. So, he took a turn. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami now took a break from Ramachandra Puri, and in few 8 to 10 verses, he wants to take up this opportunity also to glorify the dearmost disciple of Madhavendra Puri, that is Ishvara Puri, in order so that we can get some kind of training or a lesson learned that how we should be and how we shouldn't be. So from the case of Ramachandra Puri, we disciples get this lesson that this is the way we shouldn't be. We should not be in this attitude. And while learning the characteristics and the mood of Ishvara Puri, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami wants to bring up this point that this is the mood how a disciple should be. So he's taking a little break from the continuation of how Ramachandra Puri was, because yesterday we saw that how later when Ramachandra Puri being rebuked from his master, he came to Jagannath Puri and he offended even Jagadanda Pandit. He offended him also because he was finding fault in him. So in continuation, to this, that how further Ramachandra Puri criticizes even the Supreme Lord, because that became his inherent, his internal nature of fault finding and criticizing the Vaishnavas. That became his attitude, his internal nature. It became because of offending his spiritual master. But Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami takes a break from that point, and now he's glorifying Ishvara Puri. So today's verse that we saw, he's saying that Ishvara Puri, who is the spiritual master of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he performed service to Madhavendra Puri, cleaning up his stool and urine with his own hand. Now this depicts his utmost humility. Swahaste karena. Swa means his own hand. With his own hand, he was performing the cleaning of Madhavendra Puri's stool, urine, and so on. Now this, just by hearing, we can theoretically understand this. But when it comes to practical application, it is very, very difficult. But a disciple who is a surrendered disciple onto his spiritual master, he gets that ecstasy even in such menial services. So see the mood of Ishvara Puri, that he, being also the disciple of Madhavendra Puri, was able to understand the mood of his spiritual master and was serving him so menially, because at that time Madhavendra Puri was incapable of even to answer the nature's call. So he was not able to move during his last days. But Ishvara Puri performed all these menial services. Now, this is the point, when it comes that how a disciple should always always try to please Hari, Guru, and Vaishnava. So when a disciple just focus on pleasing Hari, then definitely Guru is not satisfied. And if Guru is not satisfied, then even Lord Hari is not satisfied. Okay, so this is the point. So we all know from Nectar of Devotion how Rupa Goswami tells about the Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, and Uttam Adhikari. So Kanishta Adhikari, in one of the senses, is the one who sees God, who sees the Supreme Lord in the deity. He is focused only in pleasing the Supreme Lord. He forgets about his Guru, he forgets about the other Vaishnavas. But that's not the case should be. If we are simply focusing on pleasing Lord Hari and we are rejecting the instructions of a spiritual master and we are not properly offering any respects to Vaishnavas, then definitely Hari will not be pleased, Guru will not be pleased. On the other hand, if we render service to our spiritual master, then yes, Hari will be pleased and Guru will be pleased. But if you see someone is offering all respects to Vaishnavas and doing menial service on to the Vaishnavas, then the Vaishnavas are pleased, Guru is pleased, and Lord Hari is also pleased. So this is the mood that we should all try to imbibe, that we should always and always try to please Vaishnavas. Because Vaishnava Seva is one of the vertex of the triangle of a Krishna consciousness. We have discussed a couple of times that a triangle has three vertices. One is Nama Ruchi, Jiva Daya, and third is Vaishnava Seva. So this Vaishnava Seva is very, very important. Even if it comes to serving menially to one's spiritual master, or to even to the Vaishnavas, one should not take a step back. Rather, one should always move forward in serving Vaishnavas. Because when we serve Vaishnavas, the Vaishnavas are pleased, the spiritual master is pleased, because that's what the instruction of spiritual master is, to serve the Vaishnavas. So in one sense, we are following his instructions, and when we are following the instructions of a spiritual master, definitely spiritual master is pleased. And when Guru is pleased, naturally Krishna is pleased, because Krishna's representative is our spiritual master. So this attitude has been really excelled. This process has been really excelled by the dear disciple of Madhavendra Puri, that is Ishvara Puri, and he is Swahaste Karina Mula Mutradi Marjana, and he himself with his own hand was offering menial services to Madhavendra Puri. At the same time, he was also saturating the whole environment with Harinam, Krishna mantra. And that was so much pleasing to Madhavendra Puri. Let's go to the next, that is text number 29. Nirantara Krishna Nama Karaya Smarana, Krishna Nama Krishna Lila Sunaya Anukshana. Ishvara Puri was always chanting the holy names and pastimes of Lord Krishna for Madhavendra Puri to hear. So he was performing the menial services also, and also he was saturating the whole environment with Krishna's holy names and Krishna's pastimes, which was very, very dear to Sri Madhavendra Puri. And in this way, he helped Madhavendra Puri remember the holy name and pastimes of Lord Krishna at the time of death. Text 30. Tushtahana Puri Tandre Kaila Alingana Varadila Krishna Tomara Hauka Premadhana. Now, was very pleased. Tushtahana, that kind of satisfaction was there in the heart of Madhavendra Puri. He felt so much pleased with the attitude of Ishvara Puri that he embraced his Kaila Alingana. He embraced Alingan Kiya. He embraced Ishvara Puri and benedicted him with all blessings. And the highest blessing, and what's that highest blessings? Krishna Tomara Hauka Premadhana. He gave that vara, he gave that benediction that he would be a very great devotee and lover of Krishna. So this is what even, our prayojana is, to achieve the love of Godhead. Now, these blessings, when it comes from the spiritual master, then no way it is that even Krishna can reject that instruction or benediction. So that has to happen. And that's why we know the history that, how, because of this blessings from Madhavendra Puri, the Supreme Lord, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, accepted Ishvara Puri as his spiritual master. Now, this is coming all because of the blessings that is coming from the heart of spiritual master. Say, text 31. Say, Haite Ishvara Puri Preme Rasagara Ramachandra Puri Haila Sarva Nindakara. So here, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he is, creating, basically, he is. Um, what do you say? He is actually comparing the mood of Ramachandra Puri and Ishvara Puri. So he's saying that Ishvara Puri became an ocean of ecstatic love for Krishna, whereas Ramachandra Puri, because he was being associated with Mayavadis, he became a dry speculator and a critic of everyone else. So this is how criticism comes in, which leads to greater offenses. Text 32. Mahad anugraha niraghera sakshi dui jane, ei dui dware sikhaile jaga jane. Now here, what I was referring to in the start of the class, that here Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is giving us that how when he is comparing the two disciples, the mood of two disciples, he is saying that we are getting the lesson learned. Ishvara Puri received the blessing of Madhavendra Puri, whereas Ramachandra Puri received a rebuke from him. Therefore, these two persons, Ishvara Puri and Ramachandra Puri, are examples. They are used as examples for us to learn. And they are used as examples of the objects of a great personality's benediction and punishment. Madhavendra Puri instructed the entire world by presenting these two examples. So through the two of his disciples, Madhavendra Puri is instructing to us. He is instructing the whole world how a disciple should be and how a disciple should not be. Because we saw that how Ishvara Puri got all the benediction, the highest benediction of Krishna Prema, whereas Ramachandra Puri got punishment. He was rebuked by Madhavendra Puri. So this is just to set up an example that these two personalities were used and, for us so that we can learn and try to imbibe in our life. Text 33. Jagat Guru Madhavendra Kari Prema Dana Ei Shloka Padi Tino Kailantardhana. His Divine Grace Madhavendra Puri, the spiritual master of the entire world, thus distributed ecstatic love for Krishna. And while passing away from the material world, he chanted the following words. And this is the most celebrated verse that defines the mood of Madhavendra Puri. Ai dina dayadra nath te mathura nath kadavo lakshaye hridayam twad aloka khataram daita brahmati kim karomi aham. He's saying, "Oh my Lord, oh most merciful Master, oh Master of Mathura, when I shall see you again, because of my not seeing you, my agitated heart has become unsteady. Oh most beloved one, what shall I do now?" So this is the verse that is being quoted by Madhavendra Puri when he was in his last time, when he was about to leave his body. So this verse is very, very, difficult. If I try to say that we have to learn, that we can try to explain something from this verse, it is very, very difficult, because it is said that Madhavendra Puri was actually Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. He writes about Madhavendra Puri. When he tries to glorify Madhavendra Puri, he wrote, Jaya Shri Madhavendra Puri Krishna Prema Pura Bhakti Kalpa Tura Tenho Prarthana Anukura Prathama Ankura. So what he's saying, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying, Jaya Shri Madhavendra Puri Krishna Prema Pura. He's saying all glories to Madhavendra Puri, who is the storehouse of all kinds of devotional service unto Krishna. He is Bhakti Kalpatarura. So even as per Gaur Ganosha Deepika, which is written by Kavi Karnapura, which compares the identity of personalities who were there in Krishna Lila and who were there, Gaur Lila. At that time, it has been described that Madhavendra Puri was a devotional tree. He is a Bhakti Kalpataru. That's what his identity is. And he is the Prathama Ankura. Ankura means the seed. Okay. So it is he who is the seed of devotional service first fructified. So here we have to understand that Madhavendra Puri, you know, is that sprout, is that seed of devotional service. Now, we have to little bit go into deep of it, because this verse, I Dina Dayarna Thate, because it is very, very difficult. This verse actually can only be understood by by three personalities. It is said that this verse can be understood only by three personalities. And what are those three personalities? Who are those three personalities? Is Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You can say, maybe let's say it's Krishna, it's Srimati Radharani, and Madhavendra Puri. Only three personalities can understand this mood of this verse. Because now Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying that he is the one who is the seed of that devotional tree. So actually this mood of separation, or the Madhurya Rasa, it is coming only and only from Madhavendra Puri. He was the first personality who brought this mood of Madhurya Rasa to the people in general. So it is because of Madhavendra Puri that we could, get a hint of some kind of devotional mood of Madhurya Rasa. And he is said to be the seed of that devotional service, devotional tree. So there is a seed, and that seed is Madhavendra Puri. The same seed then fructifies and grows into a small sapling. And that sapling is Ishvara Puri. But then the gardener himself, and who is the gardener? He is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he is gardening that, taking care of that sapling. And because of which this sapling grows into a big devotional tree. And the trunk of that tree becomes Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. So we see how Madhavendra Puri is the root, is the seed of that tree, through which the seed grows into a sapling, and finally takes the shape of a big tree. And we know the trunk of the tree is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the various branches are his personal associates, through which the tree is bearing fruits. And that is because of all the associates of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So what I was telling is that the mood, that when he is simply crying in separation for Krishna, this mood can only be understood by either Srimati Radharani, by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and by Madhavendra Puri. None of else can understand this mood, like we say, the Shikshashtakam, the last verse says, right? Ashlishya va padam ratam pinastu mam adarshanam maram hatam karautu va yatha tatha va vidhato lampato mat prananathastu sevana para. So here, this verse is actually being spoken by Srimati Radharani, because Srimati Radharani was feeling intense separation from Lord Sri Krishna, and at that time she spoke this verse, which was later reiterated by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his Shikshashtakam, where Srimati Radharani is literally praying that I don't know anyone else, oh my Lord. You are my Lord, oh Krishna, you are my Lord, birth after birth, and you will always be remain my Lord. Even if though you handle me roughly, or embrace me, or make me broken-hearted, no matter what, because you are completely free to do anything and everything to me. So here Srimati Radharani is using the word lampat. Lampat means a one who is a debauchee, one who doesn't care. So he's saying that you are a lampat, you can do anything, you are free to do anything and everything to me, but still you will always remain my worshipable Lord unconditionally. So this is the mood of Srimati Radharani when she quoted this verse. And later Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also quoted the same verse, and in Shikshashtakam. So the point where we were in this text number 34, where he's saying, "Oh my Lord, oh merciful Master, oh Master of Mathura, when shall I see you again? Because of my not seeing you, my agitated heart has become unsteady. Oh most beloved one, what shall I do now?" So this is the rhetorical question that has been put forward by Madhavendra Puri, because he's feeling so much intense separation from Lord Shri Krishna that he's saying, now what shall I do? So yes, we were discussing that how Madhavendra Puri, he is the Kalpataru. He is that he is that tree, the wish fulfilling desire tree. That's his identity in Krishna Lila. Because when we go to Vrindavan, we also see that all the trees are normally, they are bending. They are not straight, they are just little bending, and to an extent that they make a kunja. They make a kind of a kunja. And those trees, like if we go to Nidhivan or any other place where Krishna and Radharani, they perform their intimate pastimes, there are different kunjas that is being made. Now in that kunja, when Srimati Radharani and Krishna, they both are having their intimate relationship, who is that witness? Who is the witness in that kunja? Nobody is present. Vrinda Devi is not there because she is outside, because she is making an alarm, that she's just keeping a watch, and she's engaging all her parrots and everybody to make an alarm if somebody comes, if Jatila comes or Kutila comes. So Vrinda Devi is not there. All the Sakhis are not present. Even the Manjaris are not there. So who is there in that kunja? Is the kunja itself, is the tree itself, because that tree, that wish fulfilling tree, that desired tree, is the one who is bending, just to please the divine couple, and making a kind of kunja in which the divine couple can experience their intimate relationship. So who is the witness? The witness itself is that kunja. That kunja is the witness of the pastime of divine couple. And that kunja is none other than Madhavendra Puri. So therefore, it is said that the mood of Srimati Radharani, the mood of separation of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, can be understood only and only by Madhavendra Puri. None other than Madhavendra Puri can understand this mood. And in that mood, now Madhavendra Puri is crying, when shall I see you again? Let's see text number 35, and then we'll discuss more on these two verses. Ei shloka Krishna prema kara upadesha, Krishnera virahe bhaktera bhava vishesha. In this verse, Madhavendra Puri teaches us how to achieve ecstatic love for Krishna. By feeling separation from Krishna, one becomes spiritually situated. Now, in this regard, I was referring to, one of the very, very beautiful class that has been given by His Grace Hari Parshad Prabhu. And I really recommend everyone to please go and, listen to that class. That class is Experiencing Separation from Krishna. It's a very, very beautiful class, worth hearing. So I'll share some points from that class in order to support this statement, that is the translation by our Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Just to support these statements, this translation, I'll share some points, but definitely I'll not be able to do the justice to the whole class, because it's a very, very wonderful class, and I really recommend everyone, please go back and hear on YouTube. Very, very beautiful class. So in this verse, Madhavendra Puri teaches us how to achieve ecstatic love for Krishna. By feeling separation from Krishna, one becomes spiritually situated. Now, this is the key point that was an eye-opening for me when I was hearing Haripasha Prabhu's class. That how he mentioned that how our Gaudiya Sampradaya is literally based on the mood of feeling separation from Krishna, because that's the mood that is being established by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Vipralamba Bhav, and the mood of separation. Very easy to say, theoretically, very, very easy to understand. But when it comes to practicality of this word, Prabhu was mentioning that how we don't even comprehend, we cannot even have that iota of feeling of separation from Krishna. Why? Because separation comes when we have a union at one point. We cannot feel separation from anybody and everybody in this world if we don't have a kind of union. When we say, oh, I miss you. When we say I miss you means I miss those times when we were together, whether it may be a friend, a lover, a father, a mother, or any kind of relationship. There was at some point, there was a union between the two jivas. And because now that union is gone, the separation is there. So we feel, we have that feeling of separation from that another person. So here in the last verse, that is text number 34, the most celebrated verse of Madhavendra Puri, he says, when I shall see you again. So again means that he has seen Krishna before. So that is why, since he has seen Krishna before, he is feeling that separation from Krishna, and therefore he is praying, when shall I see you again? Now, this is not the case for we jivas, especially I'm talking about myself, where I don't feel any kind of separation. Rather, I should say, where I don't experience any kind of separation from Krishna, because from time immemorial, I have turned away my face from Krishna, and that's why I am simply struggling in this material world. Now, because I'm simply struggling in this material world and have turned away my face from Krishna, I don't feel that kind of feeling of separation. That feeling of separation can only come when I remember the time where I was in union with the divine couple. That is not the case, because there's a layers of conditioning that has been happened because of uh, life after life, taking birth after birth, because of that conditioning. I have forgotten any kind, I don't even remember when was the time when I was in the spiritual world, because from time immemorial I have been struggling in this material existence. But here is not the case with Madhavendra Puri. He has seen the divine couple. He has, you know, uh, he has interacted with the divine couple. So he knows, he values that union. He values that union, and therefore he is having that feeling of separation from Krishna. And therefore he is praying, oh my Lord, oh most merciful Master, oh Master of Mathura, when shall I see you again? This shows the position of Shripad Madhavendra Puri. Who was he? He was feeling that separation because he was remembering that moment of union from Lord Sri Krishna or from Srimati Radharani. So here he's saying by feeling, in text number 35, Prabhupada is translating and saying that by feeling separation from Krishna, one becomes spiritually situated. So now we jivas, because we don't remember the time where we had any kind of union with the divine couple, so how can we feel that separation from Krishna, and so that we can also become spiritually situated? Here is the question that we all should ask ourselves. Because this is the mood, this mood of Vipralamba, this mood of separation was established by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in whose sampradaya we feel so much protected. He is the pioneer, right? He is the one. We are following his instructions. So, how we feel separation from Krishna? Definitely not, because in our case, it's only the absence of Krishna. It's not the separation. This has all been explained very, very beautifully by His Grace Hari Parshad Prabhu. So please, I'll again, say this, go back and hear that class, because I'll not be able to do the justice to that class. But just want to share the key points that really struck me and that really was an eye-opening for me. He was mentioning that for our case, for we jivas, we are simply experiencing the absence of Krishna, because we don't have that moment of union because of which we feel separation from Krishna. But now Madhavendra Puri is establishing that if we want to become spiritually situated, we have to experience the separation from Krishna. How can that be possible? Because we don't have any kind of experience. We are only in the absence, in the mood of absence of Krishna. For us, Krishna is far, far away. We just feel we have just the absence of Krishna because we are so much conditioned. But if we really want to go spiritually, then we have to feel that separation from Krishna. So, how can we do that? The answer is to follow the footsteps of these acharyas. When we follow the footsteps of these acharyas, definitely we'll try to imbibe their mood. I'm not saying that we have to imitate their mood. Definitely we cannot, but try to imbibe their mood. Because when we hear their interactions with Lord Shri Krishna or the divine couple, we get to learn so much. So when we follow their footsteps, at one point, we will also feel separation from the acharyas, not directly from Krishna, but we'll feel separation from acharyas. Right? And when we feel separation from acharyas, then only we will get the mood that how they are feeling separation from Krishna. Indirectly, we will also feel separation from Krishna. So this is the way. And that can only be possible. Prabhu was mentioning the first and the basic point is utkantha, having that eagerness. Fine, I don't have any union with Krishna, nor do I have ever seen Krishna, but at least I can have that utmost sincere desire to see Krishna. So that desire, that utkantha, that eagerness is very, very important in one's life. And that eagerness, that laulyam, that greed to follow the footsteps of our acharyas will lead us so that we can grow spiritually, or at least we can become spiritually situated. So this was the point, that really struck me. So I thought that let me bring up this point, just so that, because it's not that I just want to instruct something, it's just when we repeat the words, we try to imbibe more in our heart. So just for my purification, so that I'm just repeating his words, so that when I repeat, I remember more and more. That how now, yes, I'm not at all in separation from Krishna. Theoretically, we can say that, oh, I'm feeling separation from Krishna, or I'm in separation from Krishna, or that is the mood that is presented by our acharyas. But no, we have only absence of Krishna in my life. But yes, having that utmost greed, having that utmost desire to follow the footsteps of our acharyas, I have a hope to progress little by little in my spiritual growth. So this was the point that I want to stress more. Let's move on to text number 36. पृथ्वीयते रोपाना करी गेला प्रेमांकुरा से प्रेमांकुरा वृक्ष चैतन्य ठाकुरा. Madhavendra Puri sowed the seed of that ecstatic love for Krishna within this material world and then departed. That seed later became a great tree in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this we have discussed, that how the seed was initially sown. That seed is actually Madhavendra Puri, who fructified in the form of Ishvara Puri, grown into a sapling. As a gardener, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu protected that sapling, and that sapling grew and took the form of a great tree. And that tree itself, the trunk of that tree, is what is Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That this is a devotional tree. Text number 37. प्रस्तावे काहुई लोको पुरी गोसाई ना निरयना तेई इहा शुने से बड़ा भाग्यवाना. So he is now giving the Falashruti, because as we discussed that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami took a break from discussing the further pastimes, the further stories of Ramachandra Puri, and he is now discussing the mood of a disciple and who was Madhavendra Puri, how he left his body. You know, he discussed this whole pastimes in 10-12 verses. So now he is giving the Falashruti, that I have incidentally described the passing of Madhavendra Puri, but anyone who hears this must be considered very, very fortunate. So it's our great fortune that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is bringing and discussing these beautiful pastimes, so that we can learn something and can increase our fortune by, you know, meditating on these verses, that who was Madhavendra Puri, who was Ishvara Puri, and how we should become as a disciple of our spiritual master, how faithful and how chaste we can be to this organization. So we can move forward, but I think so we'll stop here, because then it will take a little, you know, it may take a little long, because then Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami will stop here, and again he'll bring back to the point where Ramachandra Puri, you know, he comes back to his own thing of criticizing others and finding fault, and finally at one point he even find faults in Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that we can discuss later. So thank you all so much. And I know it was not a well-prepared class, but whatever I learned, I just want to share that. So thank you all so much for all your association. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Kirtida Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji, for the very beautiful class loaded with realizations. There were many parts I couldn't hear because of some other calls, but I really appreciate the valuable class and the wonderful realizations from the how you shared. Thank you so much, Mataji, and thanks for all the effort that you have put in. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Preeti Vilasni Mataji. You don't sound good. Hope you are feeling better. But thank you for your association and your encouragement. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam. Very beautiful class. Very, very beautiful class, Mataji. Thank you so much. Dandat Pranam, Mataji. I really love the point that where you explained that the separation is very much needed. Otherwise, we couldn't, excel in devotional life. Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you so much. Dandat Pranam, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for your association. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Madhavendra Puri ki jai.
Jai.
I like so much and loved so much when I read about the Madhavendra Puri, when he comes walking from south to the Vrindavan and from Vrindavan to the Jagannath Puri side, and there's pastimes of him so wonderful, and making us also creates the love within us to the Supreme, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. Very wonderful, the class. I like to hear over and over and over about Madhavendra Puri all the time. And when we hear that, we feel separations. I feel separations, not that much extent, but I feel something that I'm lacking. I have to gain so much. I'm not even there anymore. But I feel so good about it.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you.
Hi Krishna Mataji, Danvat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, and all glories to your service. Mataji, now this might look as a very stupid question, but I really think about it and I'd have no answer. So when we say separation from Krishna, what are we exactly talking about? Like, see, when in this material world, when we are there and when we are attached to some temple, and when we say separation, we are talking about the separation or the missing out of the services which we are doing, right? So some that which we feel as separation, that okay, I'm not able to do that, and then we relate it to that. So exactly how do we define separation, or exactly what is separation? Because we feel that pain, so is that pain separation? Then I feel that what is that pain exactly? Am I not getting to serve, is that pain? Or what exactly is it? Sometimes I think about it and I have no answer. Like, what am I exactly missing? I don't understand. Am I missing the deity's darshan every day, or am I missing my services? So again, does it come to me or does it come to Krishna?
Separation is actually, there are two levels. So what I have understood is that there are two levels. One is onto the mundane level, right? When it comes to our mundane level, when we feel separation from our loved ones, so that is totally on a mundane level. Because at that time, when we feel separation when keeping ourselves in the center. Like, even if you say that, oh, very good point you made, that when I feel that, oh, I'm feeling separation from that temple, or I feel missing my services, there, we are all keeping our myself, aham mameti, myself, my services, my you know when we want to gratify myself. So everything is me, mine. So this separation is not what Madhavendra Puri is talking about. Now, Madhavendra Puri is feeling separation because he is missing basically the services that he used to do for Lord Shri Krishna, just to please Lord Krishna. Now, there is a subtle difference. When I say that I feel separation from such and such temple because I used to serve there, if I'm keeping myself in the center, then that is still on the level of this mundane separation. But if my same missing of services is for the pleasure of Lord Shri Krishna, then it becomes a transcendental separation. So when simple thing, right? When I am in the center, that separation is mundane. When Krishna is in the center for the pleasure of the divine couple, then definitely that separation is transcendental. And here Madhavendra Puri is also talking about this transcendental separation, because he has already interacted with the Supreme Lord, the divine couple. He has seen, he is the witness, and now he is missing that. So he is missing that separation, that Vipralamba is coming in his mood. And that's what is also established by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Vipralamba mood, the mood of separation. But what we can comprehend is the mundane separation we see in this world. We can't even understand what spiritual separation is. And that's why I highlighted out that verse, the last verse of Shikshashtakam. It's very easy to say that, even if you make me broken hearted, my Lord, still you will be you will be the Lord of my life, birth after that. Very easy theoretical. We can introspect our own self, that the moment some adversities comes in our life, how much our surrenders go down, how much we still think that, oh, this is for my benefit. Krishna has done for my benefit, to uplift me. How much we can understand. It's very easy. So easy to say, but very, very difficult to practice. That's why that last verse of Shikshashtakam, how Shikshashtakam goes from Ado Shraddha to Prema, That last verse, very easy to recite, but very, very difficult to comprehend, because that is the mood of Mahabhav Swarupini Srimati Radharani. Only she can understand what she is speaking. So here also, when Madhavendra Puri is crying in separation of the divine couple, is crying in the separation of Krishna, only he can understand that what separation, he is missing. For us, we can try to dovetail, as Prabhupada uses this word, because every services we can dovetail in Krishna's services. In that way, we can just relax and we can feel little secured. So we can dovetail those mundane separation to Krishna, but ultimately we cannot comprehend what the spiritual separation is. We cannot, we jivas cannot. But yes, we can come on to the point by following the footsteps of our acharyas. Hope that helps, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, yes. Only the thing is, like, when we say that the separation is that what services I'm doing, that is for the pleasure of the Lord. That
Exactly.
means, again, somewhere I'm thinking that, okay, whatever service I'm doing, the Lord is happy with it. That I'm doing it so nicely that the Lord is happy with it, right? Because when when we do service, we always have that faulty feeling in ourselves that, oh, I could do much more better, and then we beg for forgiveness that whatever I've done, please accept it with all the not with proper rituals which we have done. So that always to get in better. So that feeling that is Krishna happy with my service, that itself coming is one thing which is to seep in still. Like whatever I'm doing, Krishna is happy with it. So that separation, I think it is so high, right? It is
Yeah.
somewhere beyond beyond somewhere a lot beyond.
Because of my Prabhu's job, we have been moving from place to place, like from state to state, we were moving. And at one point, it happened that in one of the state, we passed on our 3 years of our life there, and we grew also in Krishna consciousness in that state. But then we moved to another place, and then we started our journey again, and then another, in this way we were moving very frequently. We were moving, but glad we were getting the association of the devotees, we were getting the association of the temple, we were engaged in some services. But this question I asked to my Guru Maharaj also, that I still miss that state. I still miss my services. I still miss those devotees. So is this missing is on the mundane platform? Then Guru Maharaj said yes. So I was also so perplexed that how come missing the devotees is onto the mundane platform? Because it's no harm, right? We are missing the devotees. Then I was not satisfied with his answer. And later I at that time I just kept quiet because it was on call. It was a Zoom, not Zoom call. At that time, Zoom was not there, but it was a free conference call. And at that time, I just shut my mouth. And later I asked Guru Maharaj that how come missing the devotees or feeling separation from devotees is also on the mundane platform? Then Guru Maharaj said, why? Another place devotees were not there? Why were you missing those particular devotees only? Because you were bifurcating the mood of the devotees. You were saying because you were feeling, you yourself was feeling pleasure in those association. So you were keeping yourself in the center and you are saying, I'm missing the devotees. Devotees are everywhere. It's just you have to adapt to the situation. So missing the temple, why do you see that only in particular in New Jersey only there is a deities? Are the deities not there in North Carolina? Are the deities not there in Dallas, or are they not in Florida or whichever place we went? Yes, the deities are there. So establish that relationship, not to the, sometimes yes, we do get attracted to a particular deity because we have served those deities for a long time. But then he said that ultimate, see the essence of everything. See the essence that, devotees, deities, temples, they are everywhere. The point is bring your consciousness towards Krishna. So that time I really, understood that even missing such thing is on to the mundane platform. Hope that helps, Sita Priti Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, exactly. Exactly. That point where the point which clicked in your class was that we are keeping ourselves in the center. That is which is the that is the key. Like if you turn that around, then things will just change. It
Yeah,
will take a long time, but
of
at
course.
least to understand where it is exactly lagging. Thank you, Mataji. Wonderful, beautiful, beautiful class, Mataji. Thank you so much for all your efforts.
Thank you so much,
Hare,
Sita. And
Hare
so nice
Krishna.
to see you.
I felt I'm just talking to you, but then I couldn't see you. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
This Hare Krishna, same thing I was reading yesterday, that when a devotee having a hate, the loving nature towards the another devotee also, because of that, they are bound together in material way. It's not, this is mundane way of attachment. Even though we keep good relations with the other devotee also. Because of that also, our janma, our will go in खराब हो जाता है. तो एक डिवोटी के साथ दूसरे डिवोटी का हित रखना अच्छा है, लेकिन उसके बीच में नहीं चलता है, वो गलत है.
Yeah, thank you.
और
Thank you to Shloka Prabhu for bringing this point that attachment to the devotees is also not good. You should have affection, but not attachment. That
right.
attachment would lead to material bondage. Very nice point. Yes.
And then somebody is doing our seva also, like we are sick and somebody is doing seva. Even though he is devotee and we are also trying to be a devotee, so that attachment is not even good either. It is like a milk. The serpent put the mouths in the milk. There is no poison in it yet, but the serpent put the mouths in the milk. It is called poisonous. We don't drink that. Similar way, happens also with the relationship with the two kind of same personality also. So we have to keep our hate, or hate means like a love towards the supreme only.
Yes.
Yeah. So we should remember all the time the swarup of the Lord, Radha Krishna and all. Then we can sublime our spiritual level also. And when we don't see the swarup, or when we don't feel like something, it means that you have not developed this devotional service yet properly. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Shloka Prabhu. Yeah, I would say that we should always remember our own Sarupa, and our Sarupa is Jivere Krishna Hoy Nityadas. So we should always remember that I am the servant of the Supreme Lord. And in that mood, only having that mood, we should establish the relationship with all other living entities and with the Supreme Lord. Later, maybe, this mood can fructify, and, it can take a change of a mellow or a rasa or a rati towards Krishna. But at present, being a sadhaka, we should always have this dasya mood that, we are just the servant of the Supreme Lord. Rather, we are dasanudas, that we are just the servants. So if we have that constitutional position in our mind, and with that, if we relate it to everybody, all the Vaishnavas, that will help us. Thank you so much, Uttama Shloka Prabhu, for adding.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much, Mataji. Very, very beautiful class, Mataji. And I have already heard that only Radharani and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Madhavendra Puri can understand. So I thought that why means Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Radharani, I can understand, but why Madhavendra Puri? So, you very nicely explained, Mataji, about Madhavendra Puri. So, thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shama Gauri Mataji. So happy to see you.
Thank you, Mataji.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I should say all glories to His Grace Hari Parshad Prabhu. And I really
Yes.
recommend each and every one of you to please
Yeah, and please share that class, Mataji. You were saying you have to hear.
definitely. I
Yeah.
shared in the Bhakti Sangha group. It says experiencing separation from Krishna. You know, I have definitely not done justice to that class. But when you hear, you'll get so much to learn. It was an eye-opening for me. It was really an eye-opening class for me.
No, Mataji, you did much more than that.
Oh, no, you weren't here.
Prabhuji is there.
I don't know where he is.
Prabhuji, turn on your video.
No, Mataji, it's night here, so I'm on audio right now. But thank you, Mataji, Kirtida Sundari Mataji, for kindly,
You, Prabhu,
know,
thank you for sharing all your realizations to us so that, we are just, copy paste and sharing it. But all credit really goes to you, Prabhu.
all glories to Srila Prabhupada. And thank you so much for presenting Chaitanya Charitamrita so nicely. I'm sorry I couldn't come online today, maybe next week.
Sure, Prabhu, definitely. Thank you so
Hare
much.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, anyone else has any question?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Very, very beautiful class. Actually, yesterday only I was thinking about this attachment to the devotees and attachment of all of this. I was meditating on that, and today the point came. Attachment of devotees is also, it's not that much. It's not should be disturbing us in our Krishna consciousness. Our main goal should not be more, interrupted. And so nice, Mataji. Very beautiful class. I really like the class, Mataji, and my questions are also was cleared. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much for such a beautiful class. It's really very nice.
Thank you so much, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for your association.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी, दंडवत प्रणाम। शिला प्रभुपाद, शिला गुरुदेव की जय। आनंदपुरी की जय। शिला प्रभुपाद, शिला गुरुदेव की जय। जय जय नित्यानंद, जय जय गौरांग। थैंक यू माता जी।
Yes, Mataji. You want to say something?
Hare Krishna. I think Mataji is there. She's muted, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Kirtida Sundari Mataji. Thank you for such a beautiful class, Mataji.
Go ahead, Indu Mataji.
Definitely, there is so much of learning, especially how to bring Krishna to the center and of my life, and align my life around him. So that is something I have a long way to go and learn. Thank you so much, Mataji. All of your classes are definitely very enlightening, and we need to go back and listen to it again and again. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Don't worry, we all are in the same boat, holding hand of each other. So, thank you for your association.
Yes, Mataji. I didn't know how definitely you said that one point. I really don't know how to understand it. That we should not get distracted.
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Kaumudaki Mataji is trying to speak, I think.
Maybe she's trying to speak something.
Yes. Yeah, so how do we not get attached to devotees? I don't know. Yeah, it is. It is a very delicate balance there. So, please, Mataji, if you can shed some light, please go ahead.
I really don't know now how we cannot be attached. Hari Parshad Prabhu, would you like to say something on this, that how we cannot be attached to devotees?
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji. How should we not become attached to devotees?
Yes.
Oh, how can I be in a position to say that I'm myself attached to so many devotees?
That's why I told you to
You're,
answer.
you're asking an ineligible person to answer the question.
No problem. Please tell, because even the attachment to devotees leads us to material bondage. So how we can avoid that?
I think you originally said that this instruction came from His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj. Is that correct?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. So, from what I have seen in Shastra and from what I have experienced, previous acharyas also, many a times they have experienced and they have clearly accepted their attachment to devotees. For example, if we see the songs of Srila Narottam Das Thakur, he's always saying Ramachandra Sangamage Narottam Das. Like, he's very so clear in his attachment. But there are so millions of Vaishnavas. You only want Ramchandra Sangha? I was always used to question in my mind. But then I understood that sometimes devotees say that we should not be attached to the association of a particular Vaishnava. So the intention of saying that is we should not be attached to them if it is not related to any devotional service. If the attachment is purely related to bhakti, so bhakti is not a product of this material world. So that attachment also is not a product of this material world. But sometimes attachment to devotees is because of ulterior reasons. We are attached to some devotees because some devotees speak very nicely, some devotees look very nice, some devotees are very rich. If that is the cause of our attachment, then I definitely agree that we should not be attached to devotees for such ulterior reasons. But if the cause of attachment is purely because they were, encouraging us in our bhajan so nicely, and their association was so favorable to us, so that I think previous acharyas have also experienced and expressed in their poetry. So I think on this point, I would just like to say that attachment to devotees purely for the sake of improvement in one's bhajan, I think that is appreciated by the previous acharyas. But attachment to the devotees for any other reason, Anyabhilash, is not appreciated by the acharyas. Otherwise, therefore I said I am myself ineligible. I have attachment to so many devotees. How? Because I'll be making a false statement if I say that I am not attached to my Guru Maharaj, or it will be not correct for me to say that. So I'm attached to many devotees, but I have to just ensure that the attachment is purely centered around bhajan and not centered around any other ulterior motives. So I think that sort of an attachment is very healthy. And Raghunath Das Goswami, after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passed away or left this world, he disappeared. Raghunath Das Goswami wanted to tie a stone around his neck and drown himself in Radha Kund. This is the condition of devotees in separation. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he is asked what is the greatest unhappiness in the world, so then the separation from devotees. So that clearly indicates that there is definitely a big element of attachment to devotees, but that attachment is exclusively centered around bhajan and not around any ulterior motives. So what I think is that when His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj must have said that we should not be attached too much, that's he must be saying that for ulterior reasons we should not be attached too much to devotees, because those ulterior reasons, like Bharat Maharaj got attached to the deer in the forest. So for any ulterior reason, if we get attached to anyone, then that can definitely be a cause for bondage. So I think that must have been the intention of his saying that, but of course only he can explain what was his intention. But this is what I feel. Thank you, Hari.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you for clarifying that question now. And also to the answer to Indu Mataji question that yes, devotees attachment, if it is centered around devotion or it is centered around bhajan, then it is appreciable. But if it is centered around some ulterior motive, then we should reject. So thank you, Prabhu, for coming on the call and making this call worth hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, Kirtida Sundari Mataji and Hari Parshad Prabhu for a very clear explanation. That's exactly what even within Bhakti Sangha, we are also attached to each other. just because we all do services together. I feel like that is my only connection, and but the bond is so strong, and it's okay to have that. Thank you for reassuring that. That is very helpful.
Because that is helping us grow in
Yes, yes, yes.
Definitely.
That's only way, only source for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Indu Mataji. Thank you so much, Haripasha Prabhu.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Okay, Kamodaki Mataji, you want to say something? Okay, so if not, then Pavitra Madhavi Mataji, would you like to take over and end the call? Okay, probably she is also. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, Mataji, we can hear you. Okay, we can end the call here. Thank you all for your association. Thank you, Mataji, for a beautiful session. Vansha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Her Grace Kirtida Sundari Mataji ki jai.
Jai.
Thank you so
Jai,
much.
Jai.
Jai. Thank you,
Jai.
Mataji, for the beautiful
Prabhupada
class.
ki jai.
Thank you so much.